Like, I really don't like him. I don't like.
Just not your cup of tea. That's just not your.
Yeah, I don't like nothing about him. You know, I don't like nothing about him. I just felt like, you know, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's, you know, using what he got to shield him. You know, like, he got a lot of security guards around him, and he know, you know what I mean, he in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I respect him as a fighter.
For months, the tension between Terence, Bud Crawford, and Gervonta Tank Davis has been simmering. Trash talk, online jabs, and heated interviews have fueled the fire, but no one expected it to boil over this fast.
If we was to fight right now on the streets, I'll break your fucking neck. And that's on my kids. And you know it, I know it, and the whole world know it. And I'm not talking about no fighting in the ring. If me and you was to fight outside, I will break your neck.
Until an explosive confrontation nearly turned into an all-out brawl in Brooklyn. At a press event for Davis's upcoming fight against Lamont Roach, the atmosphere was already charged. Reporters were locked in on Tank, asking about his future opponents, his legacy, and his dominance at lightweight. But when Crawford unexpectedly walked in, the entire mood shifted. Tank's eyes locked onto Crawford. The room tensed up. Whispers spread through the crowd. What started as a heated verbal exchange quickly escalated, leading to a physical altercation that had security scrambling to keep the two fighters from tearing into each other. This is the story of how Crawford and Davis's long-brewing feud almost erupted into chaos.
I got a question for you, Tank. At 147, how does a fight with you and Terence Crawford look?
147?
147.
Shit, I tapped that trend. You know he going to sleep.
I already know. I already know
he ain't got no chance.
I already know.
The drama started with one simple question. A reporter asked Tank how he thought a fight with Terence Crawford would play out. Without hesitation, Davis smirked and replied, 147? That dude want to sleep. I already know. It was a bold statement, one that traveled fast. Crawford, already in New York after supporting his close friend Keyshawn Davis on Valentine's Day, heard every word, and he didn't like what he heard. So, when he arrived at Tank's press event, it wasn't just by chance. He wanted to confront Davis face-to-face. As soon as Crawford stepped into the room, Tank noticed. His usual cocky demeanor didn't fade, but there was a noticeable shift in energy.
Whoever, I told Tank know what's up. You know what I mean? He know what he up against when he fights Shakur or Keyshawn. You know what I mean? He want to fight these guys.
Reporters turned their cameras toward the two champions. Tank was the first to speak, his voice dripping with confidence. You'd never fight me at 147. Crawford didn't flinch. He smirked, then fired back. Oh yeah? Then put your money where your mouth is. The tension thickened. The two men stepped closer, eyes locked in a silent battle of wills. Tank, known for his explosive power and fearlessness, didn't back down. But Crawford, cool, calculated, and always ready for a challenge, wasn't backing off either. Then it happened. In the blink of an eye, Crawford shoved Tank. The sudden move sent the crowd into a frenzy. Security guards rushed between them, trying to hold the fighters back. Tank lunged forward, yelling something that was drowned out by the chaos. Crawford, still grinning, kept talking as security pushed him back. It was a near disaster. If security had been just a second slower, fists might have been flying. This wasn't just a random outburst. Crawford and Davis have been on a collision course for months. It all started with an interview Crawford gave on the Cigar Talk podcast.
Tank would never even think about to come up to 154.
What about 47 though?
Yes, if he get to pick his opponent. But Tank would never come from 35 to 54.
Where he didn't hold back his thoughts on Tank. I just don't like him, Crawford said bluntly. He's one of those arrogant little dudes hiding behind security. He acts tough in the spotlight, but in certain situations, nah. The comment made waves. Davis, never one to take disrespect lightly, fired back online, throwing shade at Crawford's record and questioning whether he really wanted that smoke. But the real dagger came when Crawford was asked if he at least respected Davis as a fighter. Yeah, he's a damn good fighter. Got skills, got power. But his personality? Nah, Crawford said. Outside the ring, if me and him fought, I'd break his neck.
I just felt like, you know, he just one of these little arrogant little dudes that's using what he got to shield him. He got a lot of security guards around.
That last line was personal. Tank responded with a cryptic post on social media. People love to talk until they in front of me. It was clear. The two weren't just exchanging words. There was genuine bad blood brewing. Fans are already dreaming of a super fight between Crawford and Davis. But is it realistic? Weight classes make this matchup unlikely, at least for now. Crawford has been dominating at 147 and has even moved up to 154 and 168 pounds. Meanwhile, Tank has never fought above super lightweight, 140 pounds, but that doesn't mean Tank wouldn't entertain the idea. Crawford, however, isn't convinced. In a separate interview, he dismissed the idea of Tank moving up to fight him and instead claimed that if anyone were to expose Davis, it would be Shakur Stevenson or Keyshawn Davis. Tank knows what's up. He picks fights where he knows he'll win. But put him in there with Keyshawn or Shakur. That's his first L. Still, the question lingers, what if? Could Tank move up to challenge one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world? Or would Crawford easily dismantle the smaller?
And he in the limelight and stuff like that, but in certain situations he wouldn't be acting like that.
Do you like him as a fighter though?
Yeah, he's a damn good fighter.
Yeah.
But like his core personality and his ways.
Less experienced fighter at welterweight. Believe it or not, this beef isn't just about boxing. The tension traces back to the Ring Magazine Awards in London, where Tank wasn't invited. Feeling disrespected by being left out, he vented his frustrations online, calling out Saudi promoter Turki Al-Sheikh and other boxing elites, claiming they were playing favorites and freezing him out. Crawford wasted no time clowning him. I see somebody mad they weren't invited. I remember when I was left out, but when they finally let me in, I crashed the party. Tank didn't take kindly to the dig. He deleted some of his posts, but not before clapping back at Crawford. I still make more money than you, bud. You're not chasing greatness. You have to do this to make money. Crawford laughed it off and threw one last jab. You can't buy anything I can't buy. Let's see who has the longest lasting money. A dream matchup between Terence Crawford and Gervonta Davis is something boxing fans would love to see. But is it even realistic? From a pure boxing perspective, the odds of this fight happening anytime soon are slim to none. Crawford is a dominant force in the welterweight and super welterweight divisions, currently fighting between 154 and 168 pounds. Davis, on the other hand, has never fought above super lightweight, 140 pounds, and has spent most of his career at lightweight, 135 pounds. That's a massive weight gap. Moving up even one weight class is a challenge in boxing, but jumping up to fight an elite, pound-for-pound fighter like Crawford, that's another level entirely. Crawford himself doesn't believe Davis would ever take that risk. When asked about the possibility of fighting Tank, Crawford shrugged it off, saying, Tank knows what's up. He picks fights where he knows he'll win. But put him in there with Keyshawn or Shakur. That's his first L. In Crawford's eyes, Tank doesn't even have to fight him to take his first loss. He just needs to step in the ring with one of the young, technical southpaws that Crawford believes would expose him.
I mean, you came up from 35, right?
He ain't fighting no real guys at 47.
So, okay. What about, everyone's talking about arrow fight.
Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, is known for his elite defense and pinpoint accuracy. Keyshawn Davis, a rising star, has been vocal about his willingness to fight Tank, claiming he has the perfect style to beat him. But Tank sees things differently. He's been criticized before for taking safe fights, but he's consistently shut down those claims by delivering knockout after knockout against top-level opposition. He believes that if the money is right, no fight is out of the question. Still, a Crawford-Davis showdown remains a fantasy for now. The real question is whether Tank is willing to step up in weight and test himself against fighters outside his comfort zone. But while the size difference might keep them apart inside the ring, their rivalry outside of it has only gotten more personal. The bad blood between Crawford and Davis didn't just start in Brooklyn. In fact, it goes back months, all the way to the Ring Magazine Awards in London. For those unfamiliar, the Ring's annual award ceremony is a prestigious event recognizing the best fighters in the sport. Champions, boxing legends, and top promoters all gather under one roof. But this year, there was one noticeable absence: Gervonta Davis. Tank, who sees himself as one of the biggest stars in boxing, wasn't invited, and he didn't take it well. Feeling disrespected, Davis took to social media to vent his frustration. In a series of posts, he called out Saudi promoter Turki Al-Sheikh and the boxing elites, claiming they were playing favorites and leaving him out intentionally. Crowford, who was at the event and took home Fighter of the Year honors, wasted no time clowning him. He jumped into the conversation with a cold-hearted dig. "I see somebody mad they weren't invited. I remember when I was left out, but when they finally let me in, I crashed the party." That one line set Tank off. He quickly fired back, saying, "I still make more money than you, bud. You're not chasing greatness. You have to do this to make money." But Crowford wasn't done. He doubled down with another shot. "You can't buy anything I can't buy. Let's see who has the longest lasting money." While this exchange might have seemed like just another social media spat, it cut deeper than usual. Tank sees himself as boxing's biggest attraction, the real cash cow of the sport. So when Crowford, a fighter who's had to fight for recognition his entire career, dismisses him like this, it hits a nerve. For Crowford, it's about respect. He remembers when he was being overlooked, when the boxing world didn't recognize his greatness. Now that he's at the top, he's making sure that no one forgets it. But for Tank, it's personal. He's not used to being on the outside looking in, and Crowford keeps reminding him that, in his eyes, he's not at the top yet. This isn't just about a fight. It's about pride, status, and legacy. And until they meet in the ring, the war of words isn't stopping anytime soon. While fans are buzzing about the idea of Terence Crowford and Gervonta Davis settling their beef inside the ring, the chances of that happening anytime soon remain slim. The weight difference, promotional politics, and each fighter's current trajectory make this more of a fantasy matchup than a realistic fight in the near future. For now, Tank Davis has business to handle. He's set to defend his WBA lightweight title against Lamont Roach on March 1st, a fight that, on paper, should be another dominant performance for Davis. But boxing is unpredictable, and any slip-up could derail his momentum. If Tank takes care of Roach as expected, his next move becomes the real question. Will he finally take on one of the biggest threats in the lightweight division, assuming he gets past Roach? Davis has several high-stakes options for his next fight. Vasily Lomachenko, IBF champion. The Ukrainian legend is still one of the most skilled boxers in the sport. A fight between him and Tank has been years in the making. Lomachenko's slick footwork and technical brilliance would test Davis in ways he hasn't faced before. Shakur Stevenson, WBC champion, perhaps the most dangerous fight for Tank. Shakur is one of the most defensively sound fighters in boxing, with a style that could neutralize Tank's power. The build-up alone would be massive, as both fighters are undefeated and have serious bad blood. Keyshawn Davis, WBO mandatory challenger. The rising star from Crawford's camp has called out Tank multiple times, saying he has the perfect style to defeat him. A fight with Keyshawn wouldn't just be a title defense. It would add more fuel to the ongoing Crawford-Davis rivalry. On the other side, Terence Crowford is watching everything unfold. While he's currently looking at bigger fights at 154 pounds and beyond, his name keeps getting dragged into the conversation with Tank. Crowford has repeatedly dismissed the idea of fighting Davis, claiming it's not worth his time, but his actions say otherwise.
Said no chance.
I got round 5.
Yeah, I got round 6.
Gervonta Davis speaking about you. Is that ever a possible fight?
Yeah.
From showing up at Tank's press events to clowning him on social media, Crowford clearly enjoys poking at Tank's pride. And in boxing, rivalries don't always have to make sense on paper. If the back and forth between these two escalates even further, could it force Tank to take an unthinkable risk? Could he actually attempt to move up and wait just to shut Crowford up? It wouldn't be the first time a fighter made an unexpected leap in divisions for legacy and pride. For now, the boxing world is left with speculation. The weight gap is real, but in boxing, money and legacy can change everything. Could we see a catchweight fight at 147 pounds? Would Tank be willing to challenge himself against one of the greatest fighters of this generation? Or is this just one of those legendary rivalries that stays outside the ring? One thing is certain, this beef isn't going away anytime soon. With Crawford's sharp tongue and Tank's fiery pride, the verbal jabs will keep flying. The only question is, will we ever see real punches thrown? Who do you think would win if this fight actually happened? Tank or Bud? Drop your predictions below. Okay guys, for the best updates on boxing news, moments, events, and actions, subscribe to Knockout Updates and turn on notifications to never miss out on quality content, and check out our other videos. Until next time, peace out.